Also, I asked about another big Bhagavat reciter in India, probably the biggest ever. He's no longer there, but he was there very big then. And he had a very saintly character. His name was Dongre Maharaj. So when he gave Bhagavat recitation, he would shed tears from his eyes, and even the audience would cry the way he would speak. Mostly he would speak in Gujarati, but he had become famous all over northern India. He also spoke in Hindi. Even till today, people revere him as a great Bhagavatam reciter. So Prabhupada said, I don't know about him. What does he say? So I said that, well, he does speak about Krishna's pastimes, but he also says that you can worship whoever is your Ishtadev, whomever you believe in. And you can also chant Om Namah Shivaya or cling Durgaya Namaha, Chamundaya Namaha. There are several mantras that he prescribed. Even though in his own katha, he would generally chant Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. That's the mantra he would describe. He would himself recite. Prabhupada said, if he thinks that the name of Krishna and name of the demigods is the same, then he is not Dongre, he is Dongre. Dong means pretension, make believe. So he says not Dongre, it's Dongre. He says that the devotee, Vaishnava, will not say that the holy name of Krishna is equivalent to anything else. So he never judged a person by his looks or by his name or by the style of speech or by the tears he shed, but he judged the person by what he spoke, the philosophy, the Siddhanta. So that was a nice experience hearing.
So I always play. So as I would like to play Mridanga for him when he sang Jai Radhamadhava, especially. I would love to play, and I know that Prabhupada really liked when I was playing because I would follow him very nicely. And I only got 3 or 4 beats I'd throw in, but Prabhupada liked it so much, and it was just so. The mercy I was getting was lasts forever. It's what keeps me going right now. But one morning, I had the drum on my lap, and Prabhupada was just getting ready to sing Jai Radhamadhava, and Hanksadutta Maharaj said, let me have the drum, I want to play today. And I said, sure, no problem, Maharaj, gave him the drum. And Prabhupada chanted one line, Jai Radhamadhava. I won't even try to imitate how Prabhupada chanted. And then after one line, Hanksadutta's playing, Prabhupada opens his eye, and he goes. I give Tranakar to the drum. It just went like this, though. I grabbed the drum. So he just kept showering this unlimited Mridanga mercy on me. And it continued through my whole stay in India. If we went to a village or wherever we went to do a program at somebody's house, after Prabhupada spoke in their room, he would look at me and go, play Mridanga, start singing. So I got a lot of Mridanga mercy on that.
At that time, there was a temple in the neighborhood of where the embassies and the diplomats lived, and it was not really a very good location for a temple. Not so many people were coming. It was Anand Niketan, I believe, was the name of the area, and the Prabhupada had a room on the top of this particular house. The temple was a house, and then Prabhupada had the room on the roof. And he was speaking in his room one night, and we came into the room, and one sannyasi was playing the harmonium, and we walked in, and Prabhupada saw Bhardraj, and he said, let him play, he is better. So he had the sannyasi give up the harmonium. He wanted Bhardraj to play. He loved Bhardraj's harmonium. And so Bhardraj began to play the harmonium, and And then after the kirtan, Prabhupada was speaking, and I was sort of sitting toward the back, and he was quoting from the Sikshastakam, and there were many sannyasis in the room, and Pradyumna was there, who he always called Panditji. And as Prabhupada would sometimes do, I believe he was testing the devotees, just to, he was starting to quote this verse, but appearing to not remember the verse. He was saying, Nayanam Galada. What is that? Nayanam Galada. And so I was sort of sitting at the back, and there was a room full of people who were much higher in the hierarchy than I was, and none of them appeared to know the verse. And so I just very quietly said, Nayanam Galada Shudaraya. And Prabhupada, his eyes got very big. He said, yes, what is that? What is that verse? And I said the verse, and he was looking around, teasing them, looking, to make sure that they noted that. So as he did that, my head started to get bigger. Of course, I fell into the trap, false pride. And so then he tried it again, and he started to quote the last verse of the Sikshastak prayers, Asli Siva. What is that verse? And I guess they had memorized other verses. And so I again said the verse, Asli Siva Padaratam Pinastumam. And he said, yes, what is that verse? He made me chant the verse. And then he looked at all of them and he said, you see, this little girl, she knows. You don't know, she knows. It was very, very much the grandfather, the teasing grandfather. But then, of course, my head swelled and I was not any better. And so then he had to take care of my false ego. So then he began to talk about the Ugra Karma civilization and how people are working so hard, such long hours in such hellish factories. And he said, just like they have these, what is it called? Crucible. He said, they have these gigantic crucibles. And I went, And he looked at me and he said, oh, you know what is crucible? But I really didn't. But I said, well, a crucible is like one of those little rooms where those monks meditate. And he just tossed his head disgustedly, just throwing it away. And he said, does anyone know what is crucible? And then Brahmananda was there and he said, yes, a crucible is one of these vast forms in which they melt this molten steel for making the beams for building the skyscrapers. And Prabhupada said, yes, that is crucible. And he looked at me. So I was properly chastised. That was a nice memory.